Welcome, everybody, to the Mansfield Buzz.
Welcome to Mansfield Buzz with Jordan and Hurley. Local business stories, let's dive in early. Jordan asks the questions, brings stories to light. Hurley runs a tech, keeps production tight. Build trust in a town, discover and explore hidden gems and stores you never heard before. Community connection, that's what we're about. Tune in, join us, see what Mansfield's all about.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Mansfield Buzz. It is Thursday. It is 2 o'clock. We're on every Thursday, but you might see something a little different today. I'm sitting in Jordan's studio today, and we've decided, Jordan, that we're going to go ahead and broadcast this from your house from now on and bring our guests on virtually so they don't have to travel, right? But the cool thing is, Jordan's got the cool light kits and everything set up, so it's really fun. But guys, do us a favor. We cover all the Mansfield and surrounding business, and I think Jordan and I pretty much decided we're going Texas Buzz.
Yep.
And we're going to start changing some graphics and things here throughout the month. You know, give us some time to get everything revamped. And,
what do they call that? A rolling rollout?
Yeah, kind of like a rollout, right? A little stagger out, whatever. Because we create new graphics and all sorts of stuff. But the fun part is, hey, check us out. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, you make sure you go to the youtube.com. It's at Mansfield Buzz, Mansfield TX Buzz. Just go check it out and smash the like button. I mean, smash the like button
like down
today.
Here, I think.
You know?
Or maybe that way. But
if you're coming on archive or you're coming on live, smash the like button. It's that little thumbs up button underneath there. Helps the algorithm. Okay, so do that. And then if you want to be on the show, and by the way, we are booked all the way through January. And I have 2 February slots filled now, so we're almost booked on February, and I'm starting to work on February, March, Jordan. It's crazy. People we have so many people coming in new network groups are asking us to be on the podcast, right? Which is kind of cool. So we're excited about that. Byron today here is with Ace Services. We're going to talk about credit card stuff here in a few minutes. But before we do that, we're still averaging a little over about 2.6 thousand people watching the channel every 28 days, and we're at 230 subscribers. Our goal is to get 300 subscribers by the end of the year. We are local. I think once we go Texas Buzz, I think we'll probably see, since the algorithm is going to pick us up more in Texas and locally, we'll probably start seeing some big subscription numbers change. So it's really cool. So we want to welcome everybody to the Mansfield Buzz, and I guess our next segment is our rewind, right?
Yes, it is.
And so we want to go back and show you last week's show, which you might be surprised who it is, really.
Quick rewind, keep it tight. Highlights, prime to ignite. Catch the vibe, feel the rush. Previously on the Mansfield Buzz.
Single-use creative is as poisonous to a business as single-use plastic is to the planet.
Okay.
What I mean with this, for a realistic example, if you create creative content about a house that you're listing, it costs you money, it costs you time, it's resources that you're spending on that. It works when you post it, and for as long as that listing is live. The moment the house sells, that creative is useless.
It's gone.
You can't repurpose it.
It's gone.
It has no purpose.
It's gone. Dead.
All that investment worked for you once. Anything that you do creative-wise that takes time, money, resources, it cannot be single use because you don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, that was a good segment we did last week, and I think we woke some people up because Jordan got some comments on that going, I never really thought about that. I go, that's why we talked about it.
Yes.
Exact reason we talked about it. Because a lot of people have spent a lot of time making content, and it was outdated or worthless in one play.
Yeah.
Yikes. A lot of money to do that. Okay, so anyhow, we're here with Byron. Byron's and Jordan likes to ask the questions, but before we do that, we have an icebreaker, and I like this icebreaker. So we're going to play the icebreaker media, and then we'll be right back with you to tell you the story.
Here we go. I love this. This gets us ready for the show. It's when the questions start. And Byron, I love that you're here. We've been wanting to get you on the show for a long time, so I'm excited that you're here.
Yeah.
And before we get started on the journey that we're going to go down, first let's start with an icebreaker because we want to get to know you a little better. And rumor has it you have great taste in cars. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. I have always enjoyed Volkswagen Beetles back before I graduated high school. Passed on buying one in 1990 for $750. And then in 2018, actually ended up, my wife told me to get one. I saw one I liked, and she actually told me to go ahead and get it. And it's a 72 Volkswagen convertible.
And you still have this?
Yes, I still do.
Now let's show people what a beauty you got.
Man, look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I see you take it to shows, huh?
I've taken it to a couple, but not a lot. It's not something I really go and try to do anything with. It's just more for fun to go around and drive occasionally. Because in Texas, a convertible, this type of convertible is wonderful when you're driving, not so good when you stop at a light in the 6 months of summer of Texas heat.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Like ordinarily, you suffer from the same type of halo effect on the top. You just start burning immediately at a stoplight.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean,
with air conditioning, it's just straight on heat in the summer.
It's a four-wheel Harley.
Yes, it's a four-wheel Harley.
It's a four-wheel Harley where you look like you just been beat up and burnt like a crisp.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have convertibles too, and they're good for I think total 2, maybe 3 weeks out of the year.
Unless you somehow just try to drive every day. There's Texas, you got winter and early spring and late fall. That is perfect driving weather for a convertible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pro tip for car collectors. So if you're going to buy a classic car, buy from Texas because we don't drive these cars. They're garage kept year round, except for 2 weeks out of the year.
You're right about that.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no salt on the road here. Cars stay in really good shape.
Jordan just told me I had a car I didn't even know he had. I've known this guy for years now, and I go, "You have that car? Really?" Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm the second owner. That was a car that I got, and it was the original owner is from Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was a Texas Beetle. And so
nice.
Didn't have any of the erosion.
Mm-hmm.
If you're driving classic cars, also when that 2 to 4 weeks pop up when it's nice weather, you just hope your car's actually running.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have to because we also have here this is a 79 convertible Beetle. It's white. And yeah, same thing. We have to go out there and turn it on and just make sure it's just at least once a week, try to shoot for twice, just turn it on, get it to run. Because
you're going to give me a ride in is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I want to ride in it. But you don't do it today. Just sometime take me out on the road a little bit.
I'll bring it to our next MVC.
Yeah, I like to have a ride around the block and get that feel. We used to throw ourselves in those as kids, when we weren't in the muscle cars, we were in the Volkswagen Beetles, right? You had a TR, remember the TRs series, or MG Midget, or the Volkswagen Beetle, and then the other guys had the big Hearst Shifter, Roadrunners, Challengers, GTOs, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Byron, are you going to be at the next MVC meeting?
No, I actually will have a chemotherapy treatment next week.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks out from that. So we can try to schedule in on the 2 week, coordinate with both the cars showing up at the same meeting.
Yeah,
really
let's
cool.
do that.
Really confuse everybody who hasn't seen the video, and now we'll know who doesn't watch.
I like this.
Me too.
Oh, this turned out to be more fun than I thought. This is great.
Learn something new every day on this show, don't you?
Right.
Which is really cool.
That's what we're here for. Always education.
Let's go to learning, Byron, because you have an interesting background. I can't wait to get to it.
Yeah.
So you are now here with Ace Card Services, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But first, I really want to get a little brief overview of Byron's background, because you have an interesting origin story. So bring me through the process. You've gone through, high level jobs, owning businesses, barbershops. What set you on this path?
Early on, worked in bar waiting tables and stocking groceries overnight, I realized I'm not really the best employee for other companies. All the way to retail management for Blockbuster.
Sounds great.
Ended up, when I left Blockbuster, I ended up deciding to go back for a nice, easy degree, and I decided to go do accounting and get a degree in accounting to become a CPA. And
why do CPAs think that? You're surprisingly, you're not the only CPA that has told me, like, I wanted to get a nice, easy degree, so I went in accounting. It's like, what?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's a degree program that people wash out on the third course.
Mental illness is what it is.
Because you don't really know. It's not. People go into it thinking it's just math, and it's not really a math degree. It is a degree based on the application of law in facts and circumstances. So it is not an easy hurdle to cross over. But if you love getting wasted in minutia, then it's a perfect profession to go through and read law.
Perfect description.
That's about how it works out in the real world. After you get past your first couple of years of experience where you learn how to prepare returns, then you start looking into the application of law and how to be working for your clients properly. And then from there, I ended up going into solo practice, bought my own practice in 2016. And also
you bought the practice.
I bought an existing practice in 2016, which is usually the best way to exit from working for somebody on your own. That way you come out with a book of business covering your income level.
See, that's cool. And that's one of the things that I think
it's really smart.
I think a competitive advantage of CPAs is you have an interesting way that as business owners, we get there eventually. Well, some of us at least. But you already have this insight into how the flow of money works.
Right.
So the fact that you didn't go out to try to like start your own firm, you went on like exit being an employee to like purchasing a business, which seems to be, from an outsider, would be like a leap, like an advanced step. But the way you're bringing it up, like, it's a very logical one. And I love that is a sign of your discipline and your background.
And even in the CPA profession, you have individuals who have a desire and they got into it. Their intention was to eventually go out on their own and either start a practice, acquire, or merge with a friend or someone else they know as a colleague in a practice and grow from there. And so it's not really, it's your background, what you have. And same ratio as any other job. There's people who are CPAs who are perfectly happy being an employee, working for a firm or a company on tax, financial, or audit. And they're happy with that aspect of it and the management. And it's a safe concept without risk or very little risk. I never really wanted to be an employee, so I was gaining experience. And luckily, the firms I worked for were from always entrepreneurial based local firms, other than a stint at KPMG, which is one of the international big four firms.
They're big boys. Yeah.
Otherwise, I've worked for boutique firms that dealt with high net worth individuals and in the Fortune 1000 and stuff from there for individuals and businesses. And also, before I even got into public accounting, which you brought up the barbershop, we have a barbershop we bought in 2020 coming out of COVID. But I had looked at, before I went to go get a degree in accounting, I actually thought about becoming a barber. So I looked at schools, I researched what the barber industry was, decided to go do a CPA route because it cost less and easier, or cost about the same, and it was easy.
Wow.
And then about 2013,
that's too fun.
About 2011 to 2013, I started looking at CPA or barbershops as an industry to get into, to buy as a secondary investment, to manage semi-absentee and manage a barbershop or a salon type business. And was looking through that, I met my now spouse, Amy, and kind of put it on the back burner, didn't really think about it at all. And then 2018, we started discussing it and went all the way through the process of going through two franchisors and actually visiting two different ones, and was on the cusp of signing the franchise agreement in 2020 when the country shut down, when the government shut down. And so decided, I don't know if I want to go into a franchise where your rent's going to be $4,000 to $6,000 a month, hard costs with utilities, and the government can come in and shut an industry down, and now you're paying for rent and
Yeah.
utilities. And so instead, through a network, I found I knew a barber that had been connected in Arlington, and I had him come give a haircut to me at my house during COVID. And he connected me to 2 different barber shops that were up for sale locally. And so I ended up acquiring Hudson's Family Barbershop in North Arlington.
Still has it. Still in operation, still going strong.
Building operations and stuff. And so it was great to be able to come in and buy a business that had been in existence for
Sure.
30 plus years and continue the heritage and tradition in Arlington going forward.
So you've seen the trend here, Jordan. CPA bought a business that already had built-in revenue. He buys a barber shop that already has clients, right? And so he's making money, or at least recovering what he spent to get into it on the front end, right? Yeah. So lesson. There's a lot of people sell businesses if you pay attention. So
yeah.
And not all businesses are the right ones to get into. It's just a matter of, do you have an aptitude for it? You think and you have to enjoy a business. If you're just getting into, I'm going to buy this business because you can make X dollar amount. If that's not a passion for you, you don't have a way to serve people, and it doesn't mean something to you, you're going to not like what you've just saddled yourself to.
No, it just becomes a job.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to.
Just a job that you're managing instead of something fun. That's right.
Yeah.
So then we go to what, Jordan? What we're talking about today. We hadn't even got to the card business yet.
I know, and it's already getting sloppy.
Yeah. So ended up back in 2020, about the same time, through the firm I worked at before I went on my own. They had an association with someone that sold credit card processing, and what he actually offered was business leads to CPA firms. And once the CPA firm had serviced a client, he would come back in and sell credit card processing. And so in 2020, I started looking at getting into that industry as a way to service my own clients and other people I know who are CPAs, and ways to help their clients increase cash flow, which helps offset tax burdens or various other burdens your businesses have, but do it in a straightforward, ethical way in terms of taking it from the side of 2 people who run a business that are CPAs and have that designation after their name. So we're telling you what we're going to do for you. It's based on our CPA ethics code that we have.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It's not a way of misleading the clients. You give them a low price. You have your fixed fees. We don't have a contract. There's no monthly contract. You're not tied to us for 36 months. And nor are we going to have a clause in our contract where we can escalate our monthly fees. And if you don't drop, then you're renewed for another 36 months, which a lot of your international companies actually do that for shareholder purposes.
Yeah, Jordan, you should have explained that in that first question. You know, the merchant payment processing, the fee structures, all that stuff. Right? I don't think people get that.
Yeah, let's get into the weeds here, because I think a lot of people miss this. For example, when I first venture into my own path, I didn't know how to charge people. that's what I was to the whole business thing. Like, how do I pay you? I'm like, I don't know.
Money.
Yes.
Money. Something. So legal tender.
Yeah. And now the big players in the field is obviously Stripe and Square that give you those the ability to do that, but then there's a processing fees. And that took us a surprise, honestly, because I started doing more billings, and then I just started seeing the chunk that they're taking out. And
oh my gosh.
At the base level, 3.5% doesn't seem like a lot.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it just compounds as your volume increases.
Yes. And after a while,
it depends on the size of sale too, because Jordan, if it's a big sale, that's a big chunk of money. If it's just a small daily thing, not a big amount of money, that's okay. Yeah. But when you get into big stuff, and a lot of transactions, you really need to talk to somebody like that guy right there.
So here, let's walk through the basics of this, because there's the merchant payment processing. There's different types of payments they can accept. Mm-hmm. And just give us a little bit of the intro overview of it, because I know to some people it's a necessary evil. And I mean, you got to take payments, right? But they're not created equal. And honestly, before I met you, I had no idea there was an alternative.
Yes. And it's like even for our barbershop, less than 10% of our transactions are actually cash transactions anymore. So 90% the customers
Swipe
coming through that door
right.
expect to pay by credit card, via
Debit
Visa,
card.
debit, Discover, American Express, or they expect to pay with their phones, either Apple or Android or
Mhm.
Google Pay. They expect to do be able to pay with either their phone in their hand
A tap.
or a card from their wallet. And that's basically what merchant payment processing is. We provide the connection to that network to help you facilitate actually being able to take business from 100% of the people that exist. Because if you're not able to take, if you're going to refuse to take credit cards in a business,
Mhm.
you're going to run into someone like me. I don't carry a lot of cash, and I don't do Venmo or Zelle.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
if you
or
don't want to take my payment in cash, you only want, or I don't have cash, then you decided to exclude me from your client base.
Well,
Yeah.
so you're also guaranteeing yourself a way to do reoccurring payments on a contract. So lots of advantages to having a card on file with somebody that's on a contract too. So yeah.
And that's the basis of what you want to go through and do, is be able to facilitate the easiest way to get your clients on board. Quick payments for you, quick payments for them. That is easy to maintain records and track in your system and their system. I mean, as a business owner, I don't pay with cash. I pay only with credit cards.
yeah.
I have a checkbook because coming from the CPA side, I do write checks also, but there are so many places that don't take checks anymore.
You know why you have a checkbook? Because the Mansfield Business Collaborative requests a check.
You know what's funny is,
And they asked me for a check, and I went, "Oh, sure, I had checks."
well, the funny thing about it too is like I didn't have checks for the longest time until I started running a business, and then suddenly they're like, you need them again. But before that, like when I was just a regular employee and went about doing my thing, like I didn't have checks. Like I think honestly, I think I still have the checks they gave me when I opened my first banking account.
Yeah.
And I was like, my parents had to sign off because I wasn't even 18. And I still have those. And, not until I actually had a business that I'm like, okay, I need to get some checks because some people only take checks.
Right. Jordan, it's cool. I have a few clients that still give me checks, but now with the ability to take a picture of a check, and then just save it for a couple of days or put it in an envelope to prove it you had to in tax season. It's kind of cool. You can take a picture of a check now and watch it. At least 200 of it go into your account immediately, depending on the bank, or wait for it to clear. But man, it's so easy today. But I'm like you, Byron. I carry a single business card and,
Yeah.
I mean,
so now, what are
personal in 3 businesses, so I have to carry. I have 4 credit cards I carry.
Yeah,
because
I can imagine.
Yeah, which one? Do you have them color coded? Color coded is like, which one's this one? Which one's that?
No, they're all the same color, so I have to actually read them each time.
How many spreadsheets you have over there?
Yes.
Only 4.
Yeah, no, I hate that because both of mine are blue, and I'm like, I get confused so often. It's like, dang it, I just paid for the food with my own card.
Yeah. So my question on the processing fee, and maybe we're going to get to it, is that a lot of people, Byron, have always been confused about there's a processing fee from the credit card company, and then there's a global payment that goes to whoever is the over that, right? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, let's actually take it from the top.
Okay.
How much does processing cost?
See, I was there. I was there.
Well, you're paving the road. It's excellent.
I just was thinking when we're talking about processing, it's just automatic.
Yeah, no, but it's true. Like there's a cost to this because, I mean, it's pretty awesome, right? Like somebody can just take a piece of plastic and suddenly you get money in your banking account. Like there's a lot of things that happen there. So please walk us through this.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's an amazing process that actually takes place with that tap of a credit card or swiping it. From the moment it taps that terminal, if you're doing an in-person payment on a credit card terminal, that terminal, first off, reads the card, transmits it to the the main processor, whoever that client is that business is set up with, or like me for Ace Card Services. It goes, it validates the account is still active to take credit cards. It then contacts Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, goes, is this a valid card? They say it is. Then it communicates directly to that person's issuing bank to validate that the transaction can be approved and processed. Then it goes all the way back through that communication train, and it does it all in a second or less. And it's a micro temporary loan that is actually done and approved by multiple businesses across the chain simultaneously. All those cards, every card in your wallet has a different cost charged by Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express. They set the fee on that type of card depending on if it's a bank debit card, all the way up to an American Express corporate card with massive reward points. They all cost from very low, like a debit card, to close to 3% on American Express and top reward cards.
Right.
Those costs occur, and a transaction costs occur before the processing company who sets up your account even puts a cost of their operating their business on top of it. And so from there, that what is basically the way the industry was run previously, before companies like PayPal, Square, and all those came out, you had what is called interchange-plus, which is interchange is what those card companies charge. The plus was the discount or markup for gross revenue for the processing company to operate all customer service, manage your account, help you resolve disputes. That is the cost for that company, the revenue they generate to do all those services for you, because the four card brands, they provide no service to you directly. They actually are on the side of the card holder, not your side. And so they actually do nothing for you in that regard. And then you have when you have a flat payment processor like Square, PayPal, Stripe, where they charge 2.7 to 3.4, they're just charging a flat rate over that cost. And business is set up that way specifically to take advantage of a lack of knowledge that 85 to 90% of the cards that you will take a payment in your business are a bank debit card, which have a cost of about 1%.
Yeah. Wow.
So when they charge 2.7 to 3.5, they're making a killing. They're willing to break even on American Express because that's less than 1 to 3% of the transactions. They're going to make everything off of all the other card types because you, as a business owner, did not request interchange plus and then negotiate that markup into a reasonable.
They just charge you right up front for that, and that's why you don't see that other
and excess profits.
End of the month payment. Right? Yeah.
Because you went for the simple. Well, I know my account's only going to cost me 2.7%, a little over 2.7% if it's 100% card present, or like Jordan was saying, his is 3.5 or 3.4 because it's card not present. Those have a higher cost structure.
And they have transfer cost fees if you want it quicker.
Now, Byron, let me ask you a question, because you probably know this. For the people listening to this, like, okay, crap, I'm overpaying in fees. But, you know, maybe it's not that much because we're still talking about 3.5, maybe 2 points. Like, there's small percentages. Can you help me land it? How much money does that actually translate after you look at it after a month's revenue? Like, put it for like your standard business.
We'll give them an amount.
So, I mean, so say you're doing $18,000 a month in processing. And if you're running at about a 35% interchange, that runs about $500 a month. Between your monthly fees and the transaction costs, that's usually going to be about $450 to $500 a month in processing cost, or about $6,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
So
it is,
what we help you do is take advantage and lower the cost on the controllable side. And so generally you can save anywhere from, you'll be able to save probably about 50% of the controllable cost, depending on where that is. If that controllable cost is $100 a month, you'll save $50 a month, $600 in a year. If you want to continue to pay it inside your business, you can also do now, because of a Supreme Court decision back in 2016, you're actually able to now pass the fees out to the customer. And you would charge the credit card processor is the one that has to set that account up properly for you to be able to do that. And so they charge a fee, usually anywhere, depending on the type of business, anywhere from a flat 3% to 4% for those credit card transaction costs to be passed on to the customer. And it's usually set at the higher end because you got to cover every potential card that can come through the door.
Yeah.
And I noticed on a couple, some documents came through. I noticed a couple of the online companies like Square and stuff are starting to ask you if you want to add a surcharge to the original pay charge, right? So yeah, so
This is Square offering.
yeah, Square just offered it, but the thing is that
Stripe won't let you do that,
again, to me, it depends on the volume of what you're doing. If you're just a little guy, like I billed him through Square the $85 because I don't use it that much. I mean, I get a lot of my checks from my customers as they pay me another way through Zelle or whatever, direct into my Chase account, right? Which might go away, by the way, at some point. We'll talk about that. But the bottom line is if it's small stuff, you know, and it's not a lot of it, it's okay. It's the big stuff.
And Byron, is setting up with you, is that something that that will lower the fees, or then you could set it up so you can pass the fees to the customer?
Correct.
Okay.
And
remind me.
We do manual underwriting is what we do. We do an actual manual underwriting of the account to make sure the account is a low risk account, validate everything. We actually work with high risk accounts as well, which are complete e-commerce businesses where no physical presence, no card. And we help those companies actually go through their website, make sure everything is set up properly with language and terms and conditions to help mitigate the risk associated with those type of accounts.
I love that.
Oh, that's good. That's
he takes
awesome.
care of his clients.
Yeah, that's great. I was just thinking about that. And you had mentioned this, if I'm remembering correctly, you are legally not allowed to profit from that.
Correct. You will see some business owners will try to set up, well, hey, my Square charges me, you know, if you're doing 3.5% and you're going, well, or 3.4, I'm going to charge 3.5%, or I'm going to charge 3% because my effective rate on my statement is 2.9%. Well, overall for the month, yes, that may be what your rate is. However, if on any card transaction that month, you take a payment from somebody and it did not cost you 3%, and you made a penny of profit, you're in violation of the Supreme Court ruling.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so,
best thing to do is just charge your clients the amount you charge them and be done with it.
And you have it set up by your payment processor. I would be happy to be the payment processor that sets it up, but no matter what you do, it needs to be an account set up by a payment processing company, so you do not see any of the money related to the fees.
That is correct.
Because what could happen is, even if you set it up properly, you could have a customer call Visa or whatever the card brand and say that you're charging fees to them and they don't think it's right. They're going to look up your account immediately. And if it is not set up with a processor for you to be on a disc or charging the fees out to the customer, they're going to send a mystery shopper out to you. And they do it prolifically across places like Dallas, Fort Worth, because it's a major metropolitan area. They have people that go around all the time and charge transactions to make sure the fees and everything are being done properly. They'll go into your business, run a credit card transaction. They'll be charged a fee with an account not set up for it. And that card company will come in and block your account immediately from their network. You're permanently blocked at that point in time. Your business and tax ID will never get another account with that brand: Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express.
Dang.
You get punished.
You just lost
and you can get money held. You can all types of violations that you're at risk of if you're violating the terms and conditions of running credit cards and how to set up the network.
No, that's
so the easiest thing to do is let somebody like Byron just set it up and get it all, make sure you have it and just take it like normal.
Yeah.
And I have no, Stripe and Square and those PayPal are very vital to a new business starting out who doesn't know what's going to take place in their business.
Yeah, and they're not doing a lot, right?
Yeah,
and I would
transactions, you're below $5,000 a month in volume. You can set up an account with them when you're starting out, because you may not stay in business. You may not, or you may change your direction or change how you're taking payments. Everything can change and is still fluid when you're starting your business.
You're absolutely correct.
As it grows, you want to find a dedicated payment processor to get you set up properly for that next phase of growth, be it with point of sales, finding point of sales that you can use that integrate and allow other payment companies to come in. And I could point people in those directions. Here's a software company that you can use in your industry. They're payment agnostic, meaning you can use me, but if you love the software but hate me, switch to a different payment company inside the software. if I helped you find a software, that's the best thing. If it helps you run your business, you just don't want to work with me, great, use another payment company. But you found a software to use that from there, and hopefully I've educated you enough to find a good payment company. Because it's about your success long-term as a business owner is what we're concerned about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's been a sleeper in this industry, and also as a CPA, Byron, you probably let everybody know that at the end of the year, and you're filing taxes, I guess you get some benefit to the fees you pay. Correct?
Yeah, I get. You've paid your fees in your business. You're going to have a business write-off for it. If you let the fees out and you pass them out to your customer,
right?
You no longer have that expense. I actually, in a larger group that I work with, that we all share ideas on how to run businesses. Even a veteran of the business, he had a business owner that he was going to save about $50,000 a year, and his CPA or tax preparer was like, "Oh, you don't want to. You're going to lose your deduction. You're going to be paying taxes." Like, all right. He's in the 30% effective tax rate, so he's going to pay $15,000 more in tax. He still saved $35,000 in cash. Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because when you mention like your standard business making around $18,000 a month, it's around $500, $6,000 a year. That is a really healthy budget for a small business to use on an always on marketing campaign. Like that is perfect media for your social to always be getting in front of people. You're saving those fees and the marketing expenses, another write-off.
Right.
It just makes sense.
It does. I mean, it doesn't. If there are most businesses, your price point is at a rate that your customers are not going to really care. They're really used to it now, especially if you have anyone that your clients also go to smaller towns. A lot of those smaller towns, the businesses are all on cash discount because everyone knows it's a local business. I mean, realistically, even my barbershop, if I was to save $6,000 a year, that's 4 months of rent.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't even matter the marketing side. If you're a cash flow poor business, it is vital to free up cash for other categories in your business that will keep you afloat through a down part of the year or a season when the economy turns up and down. Every 4 years, we go through election cycles, and the economy drops temporarily during the election season and after the change of a presidency. Who cares what party it is? That's just an economic fact. Everyone gets scared for about a 6 to 9 month window, and then they just start spending again.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So when we're looking at or choosing a processor, what are the things we got to look at?
You would want to look at first aspect is the customer service aspect. Are they available? We have 24/7 American-based customer service personnel. Even for my own barbershop.
American.
It's important. I mean, they're English speakers. They're there. Yes. I had an actual issue with our barbershop. My credit card terminal in my barbershop went to the blue screen of death. Just like a computer. It died on a Saturday right before close. Before close. Didn't impact anything else for the rest of the day. However, we had not batched our terminal. And so everything is locked in the terminal. And to get everything reset, I had to call. And the first thing I told him was, hey, this is what the issue is. I need a level 2 technician. Not the first person. She immediately connected me with the proper people to fix my terminal. He was like, there's nothing we can do. Your terminal's dead. He placed an order. We got an order for a new terminal to ship out immediately on Monday morning when we're closed, so that it would be there Tuesday morning when we opened. But they rekeyed my entire batch for the entire day and got it batched out for me. And then called me back and emailed me when it was done so I knew all my revenue from a Saturday was actually captured and processed properly.
Wow.
I would think
my clients, they've done that.
Brian, I would think customer service is critical on processing.
Yes, because it's spur of the moment issues that will pop up today. Anyone can say nothing's going to happen, but let's be honest. I mean, we all work in the world of dealing with technology. Nothing works 100% of the time. Recording videos or doing anything editing, something goes wrong, and you'll have to call someone outside of you and them being available to help you immediately is what's important.
Yeah.
And most problems can be fixed in just a few minutes.
We're sorry that editing software stopped in the middle of the render.
Yeah. You got to do better now.
Yeah, so customer service is huge, and that would be the first question, right? And then what else?
Well, I mean, customer service, and then I will take it from the side of a CPA, and this is how I've always dealt with my clients. Any of your businesses you do business with, it's about the relationship with that person, the business owner and the employees there. If you don't have a good feeling or a really good relationship with them, you don't use them. You have no relationship with Stripe, PayPal, Square. There is no one you can have a personal relationship with there to feel confident that you have someone that's going to support you if you run into an issue. You have things like chargebacks that occur in payment processing. We can help you walk through the actual process of challenging the disputed transaction with all the records you need behind you,
whatever. Yeah.
to help you respond to it. Because the initial thing is they're going to take the money back. The first company that gets hit is the main processing company we work with. They get hit immediately with the money being held.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we're working to help you resolve it because no one wants the transaction reversed. We want to be able to get the money kept.
Yeah.
And so find out the way to solve it on your side and help you walk through those transactions. And so you want someone available. You want to be able to have 24/7 help in America. It's not a disparaging thing, but I've worked as a CPA with firms in India. They're great, but their English is trained by British English, the actual English, which connotates completely different. They don't communicate on the same way with Americans. And so we speak differently than English speakers around the rest of the world. So
yes. And it's important, like just cultural references don't go through, like it just makes it more difficult.
Right.
That's the reason why I don't work with GoDaddy anymore. Like it is entirely based in technical support is all in India. Right. In that they don't do a very good job about making sure that everybody speaks a functional English. And you have websites that go down and you're trying to get them back up and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can see it. It's like, it only loads on Safari. It's like, but I can see it on Chrome. It's like, it doesn't matter. And it's a little both. I don't see what the problem is. Like, oh my God. Yeah, I could really appreciate that because I've suffered the inability to just communicate. And when it's a sensitive topic, payments, you want somebody that can get you results quickly.
And I think something else probably important is the ability to have a person like Byron physically working with you direct, right? Helping you make sure things set up properly, making sure the language on the website and taking a payment jargon is correct, right, Byron? So, I mean, there are companies that used to just drop off point of sale and say, here you go, plug it in, get started, right?
And my clients with the physical in presence, I go and help them set up their terminal.
Exactly.
If they're needing a physical terminal, I actually provide their terminal because honestly, you see these companies make you sign an agreement to lease a terminal, or they'll pay for your terminal with lease, and you can pay it off on a lease payment. It's like the terminal cost a few $100s. It's like, just give it to your client and help them get it set up.
Yeah.
If they're a significant enough client, which is only needs, if someone's running $15,000 a month, if their terminal died every year, I could buy a terminal if they're priced properly.
Right. Yeah.
They price it at a point, and this is being honest to clients and business owners. If you have your price margin down to they call them points, but 10 basis points, which is 0.1% over cost, and your complaint is that your processing company is not providing customer service, it's like, because you're not paying for customer service. You're literally paying for someone to own an account and make sure you get statements. It's hard for a company to actually provide service if they make $1 a year, or $2 a year, or $2 a month. That's like, what would you do for a customer if your profit margin on a customer was only $2 a month? It's negative to sit there and say it, but you do have to make a profit as a business owner. But you want to be paying for it with a person you have a good relationship with, that you believe is on your side. they have good customer support, and they're doing the things to help you be successful and make sure you don't have minimize as many headaches as they can for your business. And that's where, as a CPA, can tell you where you can cut costs or trim costs. I've discussed it with people looking at their financials and stuff and discussing their financials elsewhere. It's like, this is just one more piece of that entire P&L to increase your bottom line. People become very myopic and focus only on one or two line items, and they miss 15% of costs that they can trim elsewhere throughout their things, even on small amounts, and it will make a difference in their profit. So
Jordan wanted to switch to you, which is kind of the next question, right, Jordan? So if Jordan, just use him as an example, let's say he decides to use your service, he likes what you offered, you gave him a proposal, you're now getting down to the brass tacks. What is the transfer process? Is it hard to do? Is it just a simple, let's get everything set up correctly, the machines, and you just tell your clients you're on a new payment system, right?
Yeah. It's the easiest process is after we do a free analysis of your statements on how you're currently paying, show you what we can save. If you want to stay paying the processing fees yourself, if you want to charge out to the clients, we decide from there. The application process, as I said, we do manual processing, which is a person actually reads your information and validates everything's correct. You need, 2 monthly statements for processing. Unfortunately, this industry is ripe with people who will not provide you your statements. They'll make it difficult to get the statement because they know when you're asking for statements, you're pricing them. And so they try to hold you hostage. Which, if you run into a company holding you hostage, we can price based on deposits, the merchant deposits going to your bank statement. And so the fees drafted from your account. So we can price based on that, and we can still switch you over off of bank statements, not merchant statements. And it's the same aspect as being a CPA. Someone wants their prior tax returns. Here's your tax returns. You've already paid for this. I don't have an issue to keep this information from you. You can do what you want with your information. It's yours. And it's not mine to hold. It's not a special category. And you shouldn't write contracts for a person that locks them into you. If you want to leave, leave. If you want, someone offers you a different rate, a better rate, leave for that rate. But that said, if I gave you a really good rate and then you get bad customer service for someone else because you went to a cheaper rate, the rate I gave you is not the rate when you come back because you've proved the value of my service.
So Byron, you get what you pay for. See, same old thing happens just about in every industry.
Yeah. It happened as a CPA. I had clients leave because someone offered a lower cost thing. They came back and they're like, I charged them more. And they're like, well, this is more than you were charging me. It's like,
yeah, well, you left, darn it.
Shouldn't have left.
If that was my price that I hadn't really done any adjustments to for 5 years, you've switched. And you're now in today's pricing. So pricing changes.
Annuity. So now you do that. Let me ask you a question about ACE, because I'm thinking about just things that are known, because, using Stripe, they're, like, as you mentioned, convenient, great when you're getting started, but then, after a while, you're like, ouch. One thing that they do is, it seems like their payment schedule, like to release funds, is all over the place. Sometimes happens right off the bat, and sometimes it just takes like a week, and it's like, guys, what are you doing? How long does it take to receive the money?
Any low risk to medium risk business is going to be funded the very next business day. So if you did business transactions on Monday, Tuesday, they're going to be in your bank account. If you did business on Friday and Saturday, it will be there on Monday, as long as it's not a federal banking holiday. And so if you're a high risk account, it can take 2 days or maybe 3 if it's an incredibly high risk industry. Stripe does that, and Square does that also, and PayPal, when they find out that you're in an industry that is not where they like to be, and none of those 3 like to be in what are called high risk industries. They do no underwriting. You get the account when you fill out that, when you put your information in there, your account's active and live. They did not underwrite you. You're just processing underneath their access to the network. And so ultimately, when they start holding funds, your volume is all over the place. You suddenly have a large transaction and it flags it in their system as a risk, and they start holding your funds. And they can end up holding, and if you look at the terms and conditions, they can hold for 30, 60, or 90 days transactions.
Wow.
Until if they feel they need a $25,000 cushion on your business, they will hold revenue until they get a $25,000 cushion and then start releasing funds on a continuous basis from the first transactions and when they started holding money.
Wow.
And that's because they underwrite after the fact. That's how you will have people that you will run into that were in business and their Stripe account, Square account, or PayPal got shut down in the middle of the day because they were in an industry that those companies don't deal with. And when they find it out, they just shut the account off with no notification.
Wow.
And so you could be in the middle of a transaction. You ran one 2 minutes ago, and now you're on a transaction and your account's closed.
I was like, that doesn't work. Man, that's
because
not.
you did not go to a company that did manual underwriting and helped set you up your account properly at a better rate than what those companies offer.
Yeah. And while we're on the topic, what makes a business high risk? Because you mentioned that as like low to medium risk, and then there's high risk. What puts you in that category?
So high risk industries or things typically are e-commerce type based businesses, no brick and mortar location. Everything's done by the internet. Coaches, online coaches who are selling plans for how to run a business or grow your business, and they make claims. If they make an absurd claim that we guarantee your results in 2 years, you'll be making X times revenue. Okay, well, you just put a 2-year warranty on a number that you can't guarantee that person's going to make, because if that person can choose to make no steps.
Yeah, true.
We only got to one-time revenue and we're happy there. And then they just say that I never got to 2 times revenue, so I want all my money back because you wrote your pages incorrectly and you put yourself in a really high risk category.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of what it is. If you were a CBD company, that's a very volatile industry. Tell me what Texas law is. It's changed almost every 2 years. It changes. The federal government doesn't have a law defining it, and they change their opinion. So it goes into being high risk. My company I work underneath does the main underwriting. We were approved for CBD, but then regulations started changing in all states. So the underwriters backed away from it. Why? Because technically you can't process the transactions if it's illegal.
Yeah.
Because it's a federally classified drug. And so
you were telling me that
your vape shops are high risk also. Things like industries that you can look at and go, there's a risk associated with the product or how it's being delivered and sold.
Yeah.
High risk.
I remember you mentioning that it doesn't have to be that controversial, right? Like just supplements are considered high risk.
Yeah.
I think they follow the trends of, believe it or not, I think they look at what high-tech companies consider risk too. Like I'm not going to mention the name of a search engine, but there's a couple that have certain industries that they just really will sit on based on what they claim or what they say or what they promise, which nobody can guarantee anything, right? But when they start doing that, they put a red flag on them. And I bet you some of those processing companies probably tag along with what they see as high risk too. So it makes total sense. I mean, it makes sense.
And supplement companies, like you brought up supplement companies, people will charge back against those companies in 60 or 90 days. Like, I'm going to refuse a transaction. They told me this, and this is what it is. The credit card companies find out who they are. If they weren't underwritten that way, they either limit their transactions, they start holding revenue because they're getting chargebacks, or they just decide to shut them down completely.
Yeah.
Plus, they didn't bother getting set up right at the beginning and answering the tough questions. No one wants their business to be defined as a higher risk business. It's not that we think you're a criminal. It's that there's a lot of risk in the client base refusing the transaction 90 days later, which creates
I would not want to be in a business where you had a lot of potential for chargebacks and refunds. And that's usually when you start guaranteeing stuff and promising stuff, and then it doesn't happen because, you know, people's expectations are always higher than what the product can deliver, right? I mean, and it just makes sense. And so I can see where a credit card company go, no, we don't want anything we don't want anything to do with this. You know, we're tired of having to go back to the bank, right?
I'm going to start
to sit there and go, well, they gave me a 90.
That's the thing, you know. I mean, it's hard. Even us consumers sit around and go, we're confused. We're bombarded every day on the market about this works. You need to take this, you need to do that, and you know, and they've left everybody totally confused. And I say, hey, go eat an apple.
Go eat an apple.
You know, go eat an orange, go eat a banana.
But then you're going to be labeled high risk.
You know,
selling the apple. He's just telling you to go get an apple.
No, but my point is, I can see that where all these industries kind of have this idea of what they consider all high risk together, right? They watch each other.
Yes, and there are people, and you do run into businesses that don't consider themselves high risk, or they sometimes get onboarded with companies like Square, and you're like, well, Square's processing this company over here, and they're in the same industry. It's like, yeah, because Square doesn't know what they're doing right now. If Square searches their website and sees it, they'll
cancel. They'll knock them out.
They don't care.
Right. Yeah.
And since we're in the high risk, you mentioned online business can be flagged as that. Let's dive a little bit into that. Like, how do you guys integrate with accounting and the e-commerce tools? Because that's the only way you're going to build an e-commerce business is taking payment online.
Correct.
But as I'm understanding, there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Correct. Yes, and you want to get set up properly for accounting software. If someone's working and billing directly out of an accounting software like QuickBooks, we have integrations that you can do from outside of QuickBooks that will pull the invoice from QuickBooks and send it to the client at a better payment rate than QuickBooks. And,
that's cool.
And then push the process back into QuickBooks and get it posted against QuickBooks for you. Same thing with websites. There's different versions of websites depending on the API and how it's set up. Unfortunately, a lot of people who take a shortcut for designing websites, they will set it up where it only integrates with Stripe, which was a brilliant business model. That is how Stripe grew worldwide.
Yeah, that's how they started.
We saw it as e-commerce was a overlooked section. And so all these companies, they put Stripe in those companies. And so they are the leader of e-commerce, but they don't underwrite anybody. And so when they decide they don't like you, they just shut you down. But all these e-commerce websites are set up geared to Stripe. Even if it's a physical product being in a store, people will default to Stripe because they think they're the leader or the only one that can do it, when really they don't underwrite. And so you have to look at your product. And so if you are honest with yourself, you're in a risky industry, you need to be sure that the interface, the marketing, be it Salesforce or anything else, that it has an open API to allow other processors to come in.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. A lot of coding, but that's pretty cool.
But because some of these companies, they set up partnerships with companies like Stripe, and that's the only company they integrate with, or they will say, or you can use us. And then they will charge you more than Stripe. And so you're held hostage to either Stripe with the risk they'll shut you down, or them as the processor, so that they make more money on the processing.
Yeah.
So an agnostic website design or Salesforce type software are the better systems that you should use, because it gives you as the business owner more choice to control the cost of your business.
A lot of people use Shopify for their website. Do you guys integrate with Shopify?
So Shopify, that's the best thing for setting up these small businesses that go out to little e-commerce places.
Right.
Shopify is their own processing company. That's their market. If you process outside of them, they charge you a fee.
Yep.
For processing outside of them. So they get you started with your business inside their system. And until you're at a large enough size, when you're a large enough volume, the fee they're going to charge you doesn't come anywhere close to what you can be saved by using an outside processor. but they don't care. They've built you up to that level, and they're just doing the volume. But the small businesses are held hostage inside the Shopify system. And if you're not going to be able to get to this level, but you're large enough to have significant savings, your only option is really to leave Shopify
and create your own.
No one can really save you money unless you're having your money held by Shopify. And that's where we would beat Shopify, is the fact that if your money is being held for 4 or 5 days and your inventory is on a continuous 24-hour to 48-hour churn, we would fund faster than Shopify, thereby allowing you to turn your inventory faster, which makes you more money than the fees Shopify is going to charge you on top of what we charge. And
I think it's important to say right here, we're not slapping down Shopify. They're fantastic for a startup.
They're amazing at what they do.
Needs some sort of help getting started with. They got, a lotion or something, and they don't want to go spend $100,000 build the interface, right? So, yeah.
And it's the same thing with Square. Square is a great software. It does a tremendous job, especially starting out. You don't have to think about anything. Hey, I'm in retail. Here's our retail platform. Hey, I'm in a restaurant. Here's the restaurant platform. However, there are equivalent products that do the exact same thing, but you would have to do 2 steps. Buy this software, use it, and get a payment processor. And together, they're going to be less than Square, or the same cost as Square. And then as your volume grows, the savings magnifies over time.
Yeah, I think these companies have wised up that people switch a lot. I think they learned that lesson the hard way when they first started, because a lot of those online now, if you go to them, you start seeing that they're offering email, database, follow. You can put a savings checking account with them. You can get a debit card with them. In other words, you can see that they're upselling people to stay on their platform. Okay.
Well, it's really creating what is called float for them. They have all your cash sitting in their account earning interest.
And they model
revenue off of you because you don't bank outside of that company's platform.
Exactly.
It's
economics. Yeah.
And you can hide the fees wherever you want to. I could make my monthly software cost very low, but charge you more in the payment processing.
Sure.
Or I may charge you low in payment processing, but charge you more in the fees. And I'm just hiding an expense, moving it around, when really there could be better options if you take the time as a business owner to look. If I broke this apart into separate things, I still get the same things done, the same time frame, but it costs me less overall to just do the analytics. And I end up saving 5% off of my general and administrative expenses because I took the time to look at my cost structure.
So who is just to be curious, because you're a little infomercial, right, with us in the studio, who is your typical client on this? Who do you really like to work with? At what level? I mean, are you there for anybody, or is there a certain level you want to work with?
Technically, I can work for anyone from a small local mom and pop thing to a completely enterprise level company with locations across the country, into the tens of millions of dollars and stuff. The company I work with behind the scenes has over 25 years experience dealing with high risk e-commerce, retail, bars, restaurants across the country, large volume, small volume. One of the founders she sold StarWars.com when she was coming, right around the age of 20, goes to Skywalker Ranch and sold them and didn't even know what Star Wars was, and her brother had to tell her what Star Wars was.
Okay, right there. Awesome. We need to get that person on.
Yeah,
she was right at the front of e-commerce. She focused on e-commerce when no one in the payment industry was doing it. So she focused on high risk industries and businesses, and knows how to set those accounts up to help us set you up properly so that you'd have a lower risk and a better price structure for your business. And so so when I talk about, you can have a small processor who works with various companies. We also have a partnership with Clover, which is one of the larger software payment companies. They give you a flat rate retail if you go approach Clover. However, I can sell for less price on Clover because I'm an outside partner.
Gotcha.
And where they don't generally give interchange-plus pricing, I can do interchange-plus pricing and save you money on Clover.
That's a great deal. You get best of both worlds.
Yes. And typically, if you go to banks, most banks offer Clover because they're not selling Clover. Clover is actually the one doing the processing for them.
Mhm.
But they'll get turned down because Clover is a mid to low risk processor.
Right.
So if you are ever to go to a bank and Clover turns you down, just don't turn to go to Square or Stripe or PayPal. That's where I can step in and get you an equivalent software to Clover or better and get you onboarded because you're high risk and help you better than what these other companies will do.
Good. Good
That's
to
really
know.
cool. We're coming up on time, but I want to ask you something because as you've been talking about this, it occurred to me. We're doing a lot of our transactions now are web-based, particularly since COVID. That's when we saw that big
Huge uptick. Yeah.
on online shopping. There is a small subset of businesses that offer either have productized their service or they have a location, like one of our clients and members at NBC's got a play park, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's a place that you go, kids go play, but selling the tickets online and selling the memberships online make a lot more sense for revenue growth. Right. Similarly with businesses that have a service, but they have like now shifting towards a more of a product or membership type, a lot of these transactions are not happening online. What do you recommend is a better setup when your intake, your payment processing is happening on the web front? What do you recommend is the best way to set up? Because now we already talked that Shopify is going to lock you into Shopify checkout, but there's many other web services. What is your recommendation there?
Well, I mean, you have companies like Clover that have tons of different app companies that are third-party apps, because Clover is really a payment processor that created a system that allows app companies to develop software inside it. They have their own software, but there's competing companies in different marketplaces that can integrate all of that into payments. Or again, when you're setting something up online, if you're going to design a website, look at it to make sure that your payment side of that website is set up to be open to allow other processors, be it me or someone else, to come in and get you a better product than the larger companies offer with local service that can offer the same recurring payments at a better price than the fixed rate high price that those companies will charge. Because like you said, Square has to charge 3-4. And if you're not going to pass those costs on to the customer, which you would, if you're paying online, the only way to pass that fee to the customer is you have to offer an ACH payment at the same time.
Yeah.
They need to be able to pay by drafting from a checking account rather than paying by credit card. Mm-hmm. Odds are they're going to still pay by credit card, but you need to give them that option and then have it charged out. Or because we are going to do interchange-plus, if you're going to carry the cost, we can get you below 3% in the cost because we're going to base it on what your card types are you're taking for your business.
Good.
I mean, I had a client we tried to sell to, and literally 100 transactions a month. They do mail marketing for insurance companies. They do the marketing for insurance offices. 100 transactions a month, 99 of them are American Express cards every month.
Oh, God.
I had helped me talk to them. He goes, I've done this for 19 years. I've never seen that.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's like,
I mean, they're getting their points. That's what that is.
And that's what it is. They go to conventions, and so every corporate insurance company, they're paying for everything with an American Express because of the rewards. And they don't care about it.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have experience with because the two that I run into the most is WordPress and Wix.
So WordPress, we definitely can integrate inside WordPress and stuff because they have an open API. And Wix, I can look at and I can check almost anything instantly to see what it is. Probably 98% of the software that exists on the world actually have open systems. Mm-hmm. It's just staying within systems that will work. WordPress, though, definitely we can integrate into. You just have to do an authorized .NET or NPI integration into it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
I mean, half of the internet runs on WordPress. So
anyhow, you got Byron's website down there, Jordan. We can bring it up real quick and get that up. And I'll also put that in the description, and it'll be linked to your description, Byron. So on YouTube, after it's over and I go in and add that link, people can click immediately from this, from the short or from the long version we create and go straight to your website, which is great. But I always encourage our people is when you go to the website, everybody now has a contact page, right? Mm-hmm. it doesn't hurt to get a quote, right? It doesn't hurt to have somebody come out and look at this, because it's no cost obligation for somebody to come say, we'll do a proposal. You can make up your mind when it's over. There's no pressure. We just want a shot to show you the advantage or non-advantage to what we can do. And if we can't help you, we'll let you know, right? So, and Byron's easy to work with. Right. Sure. Yeah. No, he is. Byron is super easy to work with. He's in one of our network groups. He's awesome. He's business savvy. He's sharp.
Not to mention the CPA background.
He's sharp. He's sharp. He's sharp.
So much good information. Every
He's sharp. He drove Volkswagen, but he's sharp. Okay. I'll tell you. So Byron, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
We're going to make you stay on for a few minutes after we go away today, because we're saving your individual voice track to a backup server. Okay, so we want to make sure it loads completely up. Yes. We'll be back next Thursday at 2:00. I'll be sitting here next to Jordan. What I find was kind of interesting today was you can tell we're good listeners. I hate to say that, but we are, because we're in marketing. We have to. Is that it's hard to look at this
when you're right
there, because he's over here and we want to make sure we're focusing on what he says. So we had to make really an effort to make sure we stare back at the camera a little bit, but that's okay. I don't mind it. To me, it's just natural. So it's cool. So anyhow, guys, we'll be back next Thursday. Jordan and I are going to slowly flip some things over. Don't expect it to happen all at once, okay, to become Texas Buzz. So anyhow, y'all have a good day. We'll see y'all next Thursday at 2:00, and bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.